as you can see, I'm back at Leehouse place. We spent a week at my place, just for a little bit after Christmas and the New Year's. It was really nice and relaxing just to be back at my place and having a little bit more room. But winter is still going, which means I still have to save on energy cost because energy prices in Sweden are still ridiculous. So we're back at Leehouse place. And as you just saw, the weather outside is awful. So, time to do some inside activities. Okay, let's talk about things Swedish people and Sweden is good at. Now, I'm basing this not only on what I see here in Sweden, it's also what I hear in the media, and I'm comparing this to my own experience back in Holland, but also what I just hear from other people that are talking about what Sweden is good at. First thing, Sweden is good at recycling. Now, this might conflict with what I said a while ago in this video, which is the video about cultural differences between Holland and Sweden. There I said that Swedish people throw away things way too early, while we in Holland want to, sell it to somebody else when it's still viable to use. But I have to say, here in Sweden there are a lot of recycling stations. Like, you can almost always find a station where you can recycle your bottles, your paper, your plastic, your cardboard, and there are very good at tin cans. Tin cans also have what we call in Dutch statiegeld, or in Swedish they say it's called pant. Like, in Holland, you could always already put your plastic bottles back and get some money back for them. But here in Sweden, you can also do that for your tin cans. Very good. And lots of places where you can live, you have the opportunity to recycle, to, divide up your garbage in different types of garbage. And yeah, they're just pretty good at it. You won't see it everywhere. Like, if you live in the countryside, it's less than when you live in the city. But they're doing pretty good at it. Okay, sit on the ground here. Another thing Sweden is good at is worker rights. When you have a job here in Sweden, you're pretty well protected. You have equal rights between women and men. Of course, for Holland, this isn't strange, this is normal. But it's very important here in Sweden as well. And you are very protected. I've been to the hospital at 4 different occasions because of my work. Every time my work paid for it. My clothing and my car has been damaged because of work. And every time work paid for it. They can't just get rid of you without a valid reason here in Sweden. Which is also very good. If you don't steal, if you don't do something very bad, it's pretty hard for an employer to get rid of you. And, you're just really well protected as a worker. Even more if you're a part of a union. And that's, I enjoy that. That's really good. Also, you pay, every month a part of your salary goes to A-kassa, which is Arbeidslöshetskassa. Which basically means, if you end up without a job for any reason, you will have built up an amount of money that you can live off of while you are looking for your next job. And this is for everybody. This isn't just you deciding to save up money. This money is always there. They do expect you to get that new job within a year or two, and they do push you because they don't just want to pay for somebody that's sitting on their ass, of course. But it's pretty well managed, and in such a way that people have a hard time taking advantage of it. It's not that people come here and just sit on their asses and get that money. No, you have to work for it, and sometimes I've been through this. They force you to do a course on job searching, and they want to see resumes and that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty well done. Another thing that I think they are very good at here in Sweden is thinking about the environment. Like, they do a lot of things for the environment, like the environmental change and the environmental warming that they're constantly talking about. Here in Sweden, that seems a high priority, and I enjoy that a lot. There you see a lot of solar panels on people's roofs when you're driving around. You see also solar heaters. Like I said earlier, recycling is a big thing, and the general idea in Sweden's heads is just, I never heard somebody talking about the environment the way they do here in Sweden back in Holland. Like, people will turn off their engines when they're waiting for something a lot more here than they would back in Holland. People will walk somewhere, or they will take the bicycle somewhere just because of the environment. They will not throw garbage out on the street because of the environment. This is kind of new for Sweden, as people that watch my Cultural Differences channel, but now they're also starting to think a lot more about electricity. Yes, that's partially because of the high electricity prices, but they're also doing that because of the environment. People are thinking about, what can I do to save electricity so as to help the environment? And that's a very good thing. I mean, this is just a good example of recycling here in Sweden. In the basement of Lee House apartment building, they have a recycling room. I mean, that's pretty awesome, right? All right, now to go outside, where the weather is really bad. Ugh. And time to throw out the normal garbage. Like I said, they have all kinds of recycling, but they also have garbage that cannot be recycled, and those actually go into energy creating furnaces. And Sweden has a shortage of garbage, if you can believe it. They are asking other neighboring countries for their garbage so Sweden can burn it to make energy. Now, another thing Sweden is very good at is women's rights. Of course, there are now a lot of countries where women are equal to men, but Sweden was one of the first to do it, and therefore has been seeing the effects of it the longest. Women are 100% equal to men here in Sweden, according to the law and workers' rights and everything like that. Of course, people will always treat each other different, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the actual law. And women are 100% equal in Sweden according to the law. And that's perfect. Yeah, so when I first came to Sweden, I started realizing I could see those effects of women's rights being equal here. There were so much more women in manly jobs than there were back in Holland. Like the number of women truck drivers or women working in metal industry, women welders, all that kind of stuff happens a lot more here in Sweden, and it isn't weird. You just they're there and they're doing the job, and there's a lot less going on of like, oh, I don't want a woman to drive the truck because it'll crash. No, that stuff doesn't. Those types of jokes don't happen as much here as they did in Holland. Of course, they still happen. There's always some rotten apples around that make those kinds of jokes. But yeah, women are well protected here. And it isn't just women's rights, it's everybody's rights. Like, if you are a gay couple, you can get married. If you are different in any way, you are treated as an equal. You are just as normal as everybody else, according to the law and according to everybody else. All the non binary people at my work, which there is a good bunch of, they're just being treated like anybody else. There's not something weird about that. And I think that's good. While I'm sitting on the couch here, I want to show you this painting. Li Hao, through her work, got to meet a couple of Ukrainian people that, of course, fled from the war. And Li Hao, the sweetheart that she is, the good-hearted person she is, she helped them out a lot. She helped them get a cradle for their baby. She helped them get an apartment. She helped them get some furniture for the apartment, all through her connections, right? I don't know everything she did exactly, but I know she did enough that one of the Ukrainian people, who is an artist, gave her this picture for free. And this isn't just any artist, this is a known person. And he made this painting because of the war in Ukraine. And he thought it was a weird decision to take this painting over the other choices Li Hao had. But this painting just had so much historical and emotional value that Li Hao got this painting for free and she chose this one. And, you know, if you want something to cheer up your living room, or you might make different choices, but this was just so emotionally important that we chose this one, or Li Hao chose this one. And yeah, it's, as you can see, there are some skyscrapers that are being attacked with a rocket here, and there are soldiers standing here and laying on the ground, and can't imagine what those people have gone through. But I just thought that was awesome to show you guys. The war affects everybody, and if you can help, be like Li Hao and help. Now, the last thing I want to talk about that Sweden is really good at, and I think I've told this before on one of my vlogs, is in Sweden, you are by law obligated to replant every tree that you cut down if you are a forest owner, unless you can show a valid plan for that piece of land where trees are in the way. But yeah, in general, all forest owners cut down trees all the time for the wood industry and for firewood and all that kind of stuff. But within 3 years, you are obligated by law to replant those trees. And if you don't, you will face punishments. And I think that is very good. Another one of those things that is good for the environment. But not just good for the environment, it's also good for the economy. Because, in 25 years, there's going to be new trees you can cut down, sell, and do things with. So, yeah, I think that's a very good thing. And something a lot of countries, especially around the Amazon, for example, can learn a lot about. So, thank you for listening to this. I hope you got a new appreciation for Sweden. It's a beautiful country. They have a lot of good things and some bad things. Every country has their good and bad side, but the amount of good sides that Sweden has is a great reason for me to continue living here and not move back to Holland. I hope you enjoyed this and see you all later. Bye! YouTube says you might enjoy this video. Go ahead and give it a try.